Hello? Welcome back.
So evidently, I've been gone for about 3 to 4 months. I'm kind of going to explain the reason as to my absence for this very long, obscene amount of time. And basically, majority of that is due to the fact that I went on a vacation for a month long, where there was a lot of issues along the line in that vacation. I ended up, going to a wedding. I ended up seeing a friend of mine as well in Virginia, and then I came across this really psychotic girl. Me being a virgin, she's just like, "Yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant with your child," and it's just like, okay. Evidently, I've come across crazy. I have a thing for crazy girls, apparently. But beyond that, it's slightly reassuring because at least I can say that I have the thing. It's a thing. Anyways, I enjoy a lot of things that I get to do over time. One of the very many things that I ended up realizing over the course of, the past couple months is that I kind of lost who I was due to like my last relationship and things along those lines and such. Just having that kind of problematic issue and whatnot, it doesn't really help your situation all that much. I also ended up coming across the issue of having roughly around $8,000 of credit card fraud and having money stolen from my bank account and stuff like that. I was helping a friend making payments on their vehicle, and they tried to have me arrested for stealing their vehicle when I never stole their vehicle. They gave me permission, and it was very clear, it was very verbal. I even had a recording of it. He said it in front of my brother, so I had multiple witnesses. He tried to have me arrested for stealing his vehicle when I never stole it. So I've been having to deal with a lot of issues because of that. During the time that I had made my previous video, I ended up going and working for this guy who, I was working for him, but he didn't pay me. He actually refused to pay me, if we're going to be completely honest. He owes me $700 very easily. But he owes me a lot of money. Above that, I've been struggling, with kind of life issues, determining on where it is that I want to be, where it is that I want to go, just my overall life choices, and how I can better myself in that circumstance. It's been a difficult journey, I guess I should say, over the course of the past 4 to 5 years, of enlisting and being a part of the military, and then coming out of the military and having a very, very failed relationship, which none of it was my fault, but she pinned the fault completely on me and why the relationship failed. She's just like, the reason why we never worked is because you never trusted me, you never believed me. And it's just like, okay, well, I always trusted you and I always believed you, and I never once doubted you, or doubted where you were going, where you were gonna go, or where you were going, or what you were doing, or any of that. I always trusted you. And then all of your friends now are telling me, oh yeah, no, she was just lying to you. So I'm just like, okay, well, who am I supposed to believe? You, who I spent a long time with, or your friends? And when I made my last video, she and I were still together. So I've been well, she and I were together, but we weren't together. It was very complex. I'm trying to remember when the last time I made a video was, which was 4 months ago, and right now we're in February, so January, December, January, December, November, October. So 2 months prior to that, so 6 months ago, she and I ultimately ended our relationship. At this current moment in time, it's 5. Like the beginning of next month, it's going to be 6. But she ended up coming back into my life shortly after that video was made, roughly around 3 days, I believe it was, that she came back into my life and that she was trying to like be part of my life again. Only because the guy that she ended up being with wasn't like me at all. And she's just like, I want us to be something, but I don't want to break up with him. But we can still try and be something. And me, I'm all off of vulnerability. I can't stand the thought of having that type of relationship. And I haven't expressed that to her. But that was my life. This has been my life for the past 4 months, where I've been trying to figure out where to go. I'm getting ready to leave for the Army finally, so that's great. I've been pushing towards getting into the Army since July of last year. So June. It's been June of last year. Excuse me. So June of last year, I was pushing really heavily towards enlisting and everything, and finally getting into the military. Well, back in, I guess I should say more accurately, because I was told I had to wait 6 months, no matter what, even to get re-enlisted. Which is, I followed the regulations that I was informed of, and it took them 6 months. It took 6 months for the Air Force to give the Army my entire file, everything, all of my information. And it was very, very strenuous. It was very difficult. I think that the biggest issue that I had was, waiting. Waiting is my biggest problem. I do not like waiting. I can't stand waiting, and I think that's the biggest issue that I've had so far in my life. That actually also reminds me, my last video, my tattoo wasn't finished. But it's completely finished now, and I have another tattoo on my chest. I'm also getting another tattoo that's going to be covering from, the top of my pelvis to right underneath my nipple on, the right side of my body. It's actually going to cover the entire right side of my body, just to kind of cover an entire show that I watched for the past 8 years, and that's been the biggest part of who I am, and the person that I've become over the past 8 years. And my biggest thing, or my biggest problem, I guess, should be relationships. Ironically enough, the biggest problem that I have in life is relationships. You wouldn't think that my biggest problem in life would be relationships. I ended up finding out from a lot of people that I care about in my life that I am far too trusting to people. My cousin and I, yesterday was the last time that we got to hang out before I leave for the military. And he said, your biggest problem is that, is that you trust people too quickly. You're a great guy. You are affectionate. You are caring. You love everyone that's a part of your life. And, you're always willing to help anybody out over yourself. But your biggest problem is that you're just too trusting to people. You trust people too quickly before, you have known them long enough to start judging their character. And he was right about that. That was something that he was definitely right about. I ended up trusting people too quickly, and I ended up being burned in the long run, for that matter. I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be in my life. I'm trying to kind of, branch out on things. I actually have a TikTok, which you guys could actually check out. If you go to Sean McAfee. It's literally just my name, and you can go in and check, that out. That would be awesome if you could, support that. Another thing is that me and a couple friends have been talking, and we're actually starting a podcast here sometime within this year, next year. It'll probably be somewhere roughly around July is when we're assuming that it's going to be up and running. We've been, emailing Apple about it and Spotify, and how to make this work, how to make this become an official thing. Not only that, but we're also going to have a completely separate channel on here on YouTube for that podcast. Obviously, it's also going to be linked from my my Instagram accounts. It's going to be linked from my Facebook page that I have. That eventually is going to be made very public for people to check out. I myself and several others are just working out everything, working out all the kinks and all that, and making it to where everybody can check it out. I'm very happy about it. I'm very excited for where things are going, and I hope that everybody that checks that stuff out ultimately loves it and enjoys it as much as I do. I know that I enjoy making videos for people to watch and laugh at, just laugh at me being the fool that I am and being an idiot. It's truthfully enjoyable. I enjoy making myself look like an idiot 9 times out of 10 throughout the day, because at least it makes somebody else feel better. But I've struggled with a lot of things, throughout, my days, making YouTube videos and, being in relationships, going from one person to another person, I think that's the hardest thing that I've probably had to do, is, as soon as a relationship is over, kind of taking a step back, addressing the relationship and everything. And, every time that I talk to somebody that, how the relationship ended, they're just like, well, it's nothing that you did. What it is it's that we didn't do things the way that, we probably should have. And they ended up going about it differently and ended up changing their entire aspect in their next relationship, instead of saying, well, maybe we could give it another shot with you, seeing how affectionate you are, seeing how loving and caring and compassionate you are towards us and towards everyone else. While I was actually on my vacation, I actually paid for somebody to stay in a hotel for 4 nights. And, I said, hey, I can't pay for your flight, to go to this place. But, if you can find somebody, or, you can convince somebody into, buying you a flight, that's great. The least that I can do, or the most that I can do, really, not the least, but the most that I'm willing to do is, put you up in this hotel for a couple nights. It's only $60 a night. And so, I ended up paying for this dude that I never met or anything up in a hotel for 4 nights. And, he was, very happy. Me being, enlisting and everything, not everybody knows about that. I actually haven't even told my parents about it, which, it's kind of a thing. I also bought the guy food every day that I was down there. I also, I made sure that, I could at least give the guy something. The guy was homeless. Besides the fact that he was homeless, I felt bad for him. And some of it is because I kind of know what it's like. I came home, my parents didn't want me living with them and everything, and I ended up, going and living on the streets for a couple of nights, and then I ended up going into a homeless shelter, and eventually, I got a place of my own. And then, I got kicked out of that place, and I was living on the streets again since August up until last month. which was also really, really difficult. Well, not last month, like a couple days ago, I guess, technically speaking. Because last month I had actually met this guy, and he's just like, well, all I can do is like, let you come and live with me, since you're in the military, and since, it's very clear that you're getting back into the military. I served in the military, and, I don't believe in leaving a single man behind. All you have to do is be honest with me, tell me what's going on with you, what's going on with your career, stuff like that, and, be honest with me. That's all I ask of you. And, provide for yourself. But other than that, I'm not gonna make you pay rent. Just, make sure that you're taking care of yourself and stuff like that. And so, that's what I've been doing for the past couple of days. And, I just found out now that I'm leaving for the Army as soon as I'm about to start 2 jobs, which is absolutely outstanding, which is ridiculous. Because it's just like, well, now I have to burn these bridges, which is the exact opposite of what I want to do. I don't want to burn bridges. I went and, got a job at Strax and Van Til. And, I applied to a recycling company that, both jobs hired me. I also applied to Town & Country, and Town & Country hired me as well. So I guess technically 3 jobs is what I got. But, I ended up getting 3 separate jobs. And, all 3 jobs, I don't know. I would love to work all 3 jobs, but at the same time, I literally just got orders that I'm leaving for the Army. So, it's like, well, this is great. I'm not fully sure when I'm going to leave. They're saying, well, you're going to go down to MEPS, and you're just going to have to address the matter of when you're supposed to be leaving on Monday. And, I'm hoping that I will leave that same Monday. If I don't, then, I don't. I can't do anything about that. I wish that I could, but I can't. And it's stupid, and it's annoying. And I wish that I could leave, but, I can't. And, it's frustrating, but at the same time, I understand it. I think for the most part, it's just I'm happy that I'm getting to leave, and I'm getting to find out, when I'll be able to leave. That's the biggest thing that I want to know. And, other than that, there's nothing else that I can know. There's nothing else really that I am able to know. All that, I can ask is for you guys' support. If you guys are willing and able to support, me making this podcast become a very big thing, which, is, just helping, with money to get the equipment is fine. The whole podcast is actually, I've already gotten, I've messaged a lot of, very big TikTokers and YouTubers about, being on this podcast, and, they've all expressed their enthusiasm towards actually being on it, and they're just like, well, as long as, you get the equipment and stuff, and, as long as, you give us a schedule, when you're going to be, making these podcasts, we're more than happy and thrilled to be in it. And so, that's the biggest thing is, I've been debating on, having to crowdfund. I have it set up with my, I have a bit of a crowdfunding set up with my TikTok, actually, for people to be sending money and whatnot, to help me with this podcast that I'm, very clearly trying to set up. So, if you guys have any way of doing that, very clearly, you can message me at, not message me, but, you can message me through Instagram, where to send the money. It's just S_A_M_fit, or, S_Allen_21. So, if you guys are able to do that in any kind of way, that would be absolutely amazing. Just, do whatever it is that you're able to do to help, in any kind of way is, something that I would absolutely love. So, I do thank you for watching me rant on this very interesting, vlog, I guess is what everyone's calling it. It's been very intriguing to do this, especially for you guys. In the next couple of weeks, or the next couple months, I guess, more accurately, I'm kind of happy to announce that, you know, the end goal is finally coming to completion of, you know, making videos of, you know, gaming. That's finally going to be an official thing as of June. So, you know, look out for that. That's going to be very exciting. I'm very thrilled. I'm very happy for it. You know, I have, you know, I mean, I just started talking to this guy that's actually going to start editing my videos for me. And, you know, he's going to be not editing, you know, vlogs, but, you know, he's going to be editing my video gaming, to where, you know, like, you guys can both hear me and see the game, and, you know, both potentially see me at the same time. So, you know, I'm very happy about that. I'm very excited. I'm very thrilled. I've messaged some people about sponsoring, you know, my videos on both TikTok and YouTube. So, you know, as long as all of this works out, you know, ultimately the end game will basically be worth it all. So, you know, things are coming to an ending fold, I guess. So, you know, I'm very excited for the next couple of months to figure out where it's going to be. I'm intending on making videos up until I leave for the Army, so make sure to check those out. Also make sure to go check out my TikTok, which is just Sean McAfee. There's no spaces in it, in the username. But yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. I hope that you guys enjoy.